inmate at the Lee County Jail. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, this telephone call may be monitored or recorded. If you are an attorney and hearing this message, please hang up and call the Correction Services Division at 239-258-3626. Thank you for using GTL.
Hello.
Hey, is this Wade?
Hey, this is Wade. How's it going?
This is Rochelle with Fox 4. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing good, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm good. Wade, really quickly, I just wanted to confirm, are you okay that we're recording and going to broadcast this interview? Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you confirm, just to make sure it's you, can you just confirm your date of birth, day, month, and year?
Yes, my date of birth is May 20th, 1994.
Okay. And you're currently in the Lee County Jail?
I am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Wade, I mean, I hate to get to the heavy stuff right off the bat, but this is a question a lot of people at home have been asking us. They want to know the answer to, so I just want to ask you right off the bat. People want to know, are you guilty of those murders? Did you commit those murders concerning Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz?
No, ma'am. I did not commit these murders, and I'm innocent. I did not. No, ma'am.
So can you take me through October 6th through the 8th? From the start of October 6th to the day of your arrest.
So let me kind of start to tell you, can I go ahead and just speak a little bit? Is that okay?
Yeah, no, go for it. Tell me.
Okay, so, the night of October 6th, the 6th, on the 6th, October 6th, so we went to, me and Mila, we went to a bar called Buddha, right? And we went to the Buddha, and we were there for a little while, maybe 2 or 3 hours we had been there. And to let everybody know, I did leave the Buddha with Kristen, okay? I left with Kristen, and it was me, it was Kristen, it was one of her friends, Kristen's friends, who I don't know the name of. I'm not sure what her name is. And also another individual, which was a guy that was at the Buddha as well. He was there. He came with us, so we all left. Me and Mila have a 2016 Dodge Hellcat, and we all left in the Hellcat, and we went to and the guy that I'm telling you about, I don't know his name. I'm not sure who he was. I'm not sure what his name is. He was an individual that we all met at the Buddha, and but we went to his house first, and he lives off McGregor, and we went to his house, and we partied a little bit at his house, and me and Kristen were intimate, and Kristen's friend and the man that I'm speaking of, they were kind of just like in the other room talking amongst themselves with each other, while me and Kristen, like I said, we were intimate together. And then, we were there at his house for a little while, like I said, and then we went to leave his house, so now it was just me, Kristen, and her friend. And we were going to leave his house, and we were going to leave, like I said, in the Hellcat. It just so happened that the Hellcat was actually out of gas. We ran out of gas. So we pulled out of his driveway, and we went down the road a little bit, but we didn't even make it off his road. We were still on his street. The Hellcat broke down. We pulled it over into the side of the grass. And then Kristen called for an Uber ride for all of us. And so she called for the Uber, and we went from there, from the Hellcat in the Uber to Kristen's house. Me, her, and her friend, Kristen's friend. And we got to the house, and we were all there just hanging out. And then Kristen's friend actually left the house. She said that she had work or whatnot the following day, and she had to go. So she eventually left. She called. I think her car was there, and she drove away in her vehicle. And again, me and Kristen were continuing to be intimate together. And this went on for, I don't know, me and her together maybe an hour. And now it's maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around then. And like I said, I mentioned to you earlier that my vehicle was out of gas. So now my vehicle is all the way in McGregor on a street, of the guy, the house that we went to with the man. So I have to get my car, and anyways, so I asked Kristen if it's okay for me to bring her phone and her car because I wanted to first of all, get my car out of there because it's an expensive car. I'm not familiar with that road. I don't want my car there. I don't want it on the side of the road. I don't want it to get towed. So I was trying to figure something out with that. So she let me use her vehicle, and I told her that I would be back. I would come back, and that was okay with her. And so I left, and I wasn't exactly sure where off McGregor my car was. Like, I didn't know the name of the road or anything like that. So I called Mila, and I was going to meet with Mila and have her help me because she's actually from Fort Myers. I'm not from here. Have her help me find the vehicle. And so I went to Mila's. We have a place called Mila Spa. It's right in front of Joe's Crab Shack, downtown Fort Myers. And so I went there to meet her. I don't really want to get into specifics about anything that happened or did not happen, with me and Mila. Obviously I left. I got there, left Mila, and I left the area. So that's the beginning half of the story that I wanted to tell you. Did you get all of that?
I did. So I just want to confirm with you, the last time you saw Christine Melton, she was alive.
Correct, she was, yes, ma'am. And this was around, like I said, when I left her house, this was around either 5 or 6, one of the two. I'm not entirely sure, but it was early morning, definitely.
Okay. What
Yes,
happened
ma'am.
next?
Sure. You said what?
So I know you said you didn't want to talk about it, but I just have to ask. Mila said that when you met up with her in Christine's car, that there was a physical altercation, that you beat her. Are you going to tell us any more about that? Can you confirm that? Are you going to admit to that?
I don't want to talk about that at the moment. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I can tell you this much. I didn't beat her. I can tell you that. So, this is something. Let me go into a little further detail with that situation. I mean, like I said, I don't really wish to speak on that entirely right now. Maybe when you and I have a visit and we sit down in front of each other, that would be something that I could talk further with. But I do want to include, and whether or not you decide to use this is up to you.
Okay.
Maybe 4 or 5 months ago, Mila, she pressed charges against me, saying the same thing that I guess she's saying now. And just to let you know, actually 4 or 5 months ago, she went to the state attorney's office and she filed to dismiss the charges because they were untrue. And so she actually had it thrown out. So this is not, just to let you know, this is not the first time that she's decided that she's wanted to do something of this nature.
Okay.
It's not the first time.
So after you left you saw Mila, after you left, what happens next, Wade?
Okay, so after leaving Mila, I called Mila. I called Mila and asked her, what was going on, and she actually told me to put it simply, she told me more that she was unhappy with me. First of all, because of the previous night, she was unhappy with me for leaving with another woman. She didn't like that at all, and so I could kind of tell by her voice and the way that she was talking that it wasn't sounding good. And like I told you, what she had done to me 4 or 5 months ago, this is not uncommon. This is something that she tends to do. So it was not sounding good. So anyways, long story short, I don't know where my car is. It's somewhere off McGregor. I can't find it. I don't know where this guy's house is. I can't find his house. I can't find the car. Any of these things. So, but I'm still trying to. So now I'm kind of in a frenzy because of Mila, how she's talking, what she's sounding like she's gonna do. Everything is not sounding good with her. And so I don't wish to be around her. I don't want to be anywhere near her when she's acting this way. So just, I'm really just trying to find the car now at this point. Anyways, so the other problem, there was another issue as well, Rochelle. The other issue was that Kristen, here's the problem. I'm not from here. I couldn't remember exactly where she lived. And this was like another big issue for me because I was trying to get back to her house, but not knowing where she lived wouldn't permit me to do so. So that wasn't working out very well for me either. And the bad thing about it was I had her phone, and so there was no way for me to call her, which would not have mattered anyways because I didn't know her phone number. So that wouldn't have mattered anyways. But listen, Rochelle, I don't know how much more in detail I can go, but I would like to do a visit and talk to you face to face.
Yeah, I
so
guess.
that was. I want to give you the first half of the story. Obviously, there's another half to it,
Right.
Which I don't mind giving you as well. I would like to.
Yeah. I guess just one question
So-
before we continue though is
Sure. No,
why
it's
did
fine.
you
Go ahead.
have Christine's
Wait,
phone
hold
with
on,
you?
Rochelle. You're breaking up just a little bit. I can't hear you too well.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Yeah. Why did you have Christine's phone with you when you left to go find your car?
The reason that I had her phone was because, first of all, she said I could take it. That was the first thing. She didn't mind. I could take her car. I could take her phone. Because I needed to call Mila because Mila wasn't. It's the spa that we meet up at, and she was not there, obviously. And so I had to be able to call her to talk to her, ask her where she was. Can we meet up at the spa? And I don't have my own phone. I don't actually have a phone. So that was the reason behind that.
Gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know Christine before that night, or did you guys just meet at the Buddha?
No, we just met at the Buddha. That was the first time that we had met. I didn't know her previously before then.
Okay. So you have her phone, you have her car, you don't remember where she lives. What happens next? What do you do next?
What I do next was drive around and try to find her house. That's what I did. And it took a little while.
Why did you have Christine's phone with you when you left to go find your car?
The reason that I had her phone was because, first of all, she said I could take it. That was the first thing. She didn't mind. I could take her car. I could take her phone. Because I needed to call Mila because Mila wasn't. It's the spa that we meet up at, and she was not there, obviously. And so I had to be able to call her to talk to her, ask her where she was. Can we meet up at the spa? And I don't have my own phone. I don't actually have a phone. So that was the reason behind that.
Gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know Christine before that night, or did you guys just meet at the Buddha?
No, we just met at the Buddha. That was the first time that we had met. I didn't know her previously before then.
Okay. So you have her phone, you have her car, you don't remember where she lives. What happens next? What do you do next?
What I do next was drive around and try to find her house. That's what I did. And it took a little while. Actually, it took a couple hours. I don't know. Just trying to find the road, trying to find her house. I know what her house looks like. I remember, but I can't find the road. And so yeah. So that's really all, Rochelle. That's all I want to tell you about for now. If that's okay.
So I just want to confirm something at the end there.
Sure.
So you were able to find
Sure.
her house. Did you just return the car and leave the phone inside and walk away? Like, how did that work out?
I was unable to find her house. I was not able to find it.
So what did you do with the car and her phone?
Well, I drove to, like I said, I'm not from here, so I'm unfamiliar with the territory. But I drove to a friend of mine's business, which I'm sure everyone knows about. I mean, you guys have been reporting it. Everyone's been talking about it, so it's nothing new. I mean, you already know. I went to his business and I sat there with the vehicle. And didn't really know what else to do. First of all, because Mila is the only other girl. She's the only person that I have in Fort Myers. She's mad at me. She's upset. So that was not an option. So I used to work. I was employed by Mateo Graphics, and so I went over there because I knew how to actually get there.
Okay.
And that's where I believe the police, I guess, had found the vehicle.
So based on the police reports we're getting, that you were found shirtless and covered in blood inside of that home. Is that true?
Sure. That is actually not true. No, it's not. And actually, when I was found inside of that home, I was completely dressed. I had a shirt on. I wasn't bloody. I wasn't anything. Here's the second half of the story that everybody's wanting to know. And obviously you're saying, did I have anything to do with these two murders? Are they tragic? Yes, they are. Did I have anything to do with them? No, it's not. And is it tragic that I'm sitting in jail and people honestly think that I'm a monster? Yes, it is. That's wrong. But so the second half of the story is I was driving around looking for Kristen's house. Okay, and so I'm driving around at this point in time around Cape Coral. And yes, I did run into Diane. And yes, I did meet her. And yes, I did see her. But I didn't have anything to do with her death. The only thing that had happened was I asked her for directions, trying to kind of like get a general view of where I was at, because now at this point I'm in Cape Coral looking for Kristen's house. I can't find her house. I know what it looks like. I vaguely know what the streets around it look like and the houses around it look like, but I don't know how to get there. But now I have another issue. Mila is not answering the phone. She's mad at me. She's upset. She doesn't want to answer the phone. So I'm kind of stuck a little bit in Cape Coral, and can't. I could find my way back, but it was a problem. I was having trouble with directions, to say the least. And Diane, I asked her for directions, and well, is there anything you want to ask me, or do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to just follow up on that. So, describe that encounter. Was she just walking down the side of the street? What time was it? How did that work?
What time it was? It was early morning. I mean, I can't give you an exact time. I really can't.
Yeah.
7 or 8 maybe in the morning.
And this is Monday morning?
And yes, correct. Yes.
Okay.
Of the 7th, correct?
Yes.
Yes, correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Of the morning. Yes.
So you're driving. It's
so,
early in the morning. You don't know where you're going. Then what happens next?
Okay. What happens next is I asked her for directions, and she was trying to help me figure out where I was. First of all, asked her how to get back to Fort Myers, and just where I'm at. She helped me out with the directions, and then she actually asked me for a ride. She was going to work, I believe, and she had asked me for a ride. So I gave her a ride, and it was a short. It wasn't even far that I had given her a ride, maybe a 5-minute drive. And I dropped her off, and I believe that it was at a bus stop, so I believe that she was getting on the bus, and that was it with her.
And do you remember what was around you? Do you kind of have an idea of like where you dropped her off, where that bus stop was?
Was that where?
Do you have an idea of where that bus stop was, where you dropped her off?
No. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the area. No, ma'am.
Okay. So you dropped her off, and again, the last time you saw Diane Ruiz, she was alive as well?
Yes, she was alive. Yes, correct. Yes, ma'am.
So after that happens, where do you go next? After you drop Diane off, what happens next?
Okay. What happens after that is then let's see. What happens next is she gave me directions on how to get back to Fort Myers, and that was enough for me to. I couldn't find Kristen's house, so I kind of gave up on that. My second thought was that I would go and try to meet back up with Mila, and figure out what to do next. First of all, we have to get our car. Second of all, I have to return this car to Kristen. And so these are the things that I have to do. So I go back to Fort Myers, and I think I believe that I went back to Mateo Graphics, and that's across the bridge in Fort Myers, like I said, where I used to be employed. And I parked the vehicle there. I went inside Mateo Graphics, called Mila, but did not go back to meet up with her again. And then, let's see, and then leaving the car there, I left the business and walked on foot, and that was it. The rest, there's really not much left to the story after that.
So I just wanted to...
They said that they found me, and I guess I had blood on me.
Yes.
But The first thing is, to be honest with you, this is not true. If there was any blood on me, it was from myself because I do personal training, and my hands, I had been doing push-ups on the ground on asphalt, which was not smart of me, but I did, and I had two quarter-sized scars, open wounds on my hand that had reopened, and they constantly are reopening. They're on the palm of my hand. And there was a little bit of blood on my pants, I believe, from that. And like I said, this is no wonder that the police, even with everything they have now, like my clothes and whatnot, my pants, the FDLE testing that they say that they're running, it's not a surprise that I haven't been charged with anything. I know this because the blood that's on my pants is from my hand. So if they're saying that there's any blood, it's from myself.
So wait, I have to ask you, we spoke to Mila and she's claiming that when you confess, she's claiming that you confessed to her. And she says that when you confessed that you told her you were under the influence of drugs. Is there any truth to that at all?
No, there's not truth to that. And if I do, what people do in their personal lives is what they decide to do. I don't think that it's fair for other people to get into other people's personal business. And if you drink alcohol, I'm not going to ask you if you do. That's your own business. You're a grown woman. You're a grown individual. Mila doesn't know me very well. She doesn't know me enough to say these things.
I have two follow-ups for you. One, did you in fact confess to her? Because that's what she's telling us. Did you confess to these murders to Mila?
Is that what she's saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. No, I didn't confess that. And a confession. Also, let me just inform you. I'm innocent of these charges. If there is any charges that will be present, I haven't been charged with anything, and that's all that I can tell you about that.
So let me ask you this then. So it appears that you were the last person to see these two women alive, or one of the last people to see these two women alive. Does that scare you? You're saying you didn't do it, but does it concern you that you're one of the last people to see them alive, and nobody knows what happened to them at this point?
Sure. No, I understand that. But that's not my fault. That's not my concern. That doesn't have anything to do with me. I can't give you any answer about that. Just because I'm the last person to see them, obviously, like I said, I've told you my side of the story, and that's all there is to it.
So I just wanted to ask you, do you have any theories as to what may have happened to these two women?
Well, to be honest with you, man, since I've been in here, I talked to a lot of people. I have friends and family that still support me, and I've heard that a third woman was found in Cape Coral, and this was big on the news, and so it doesn't surprise me that it sounds as though somebody is going around doing these horrific things, and like I said, since I've been incarcerated now in the Lee County Jail, a third woman's been found in Cape Coral.
We're still working on that. I don't know that I remember any other women being found, but I'll look into that and see.
Well, that's what I've heard. So
Okay.
maybe I'm incorrect on this. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what I've heard. It's hard for me to hear. It's hard for me to get clear news, being that actually in Lee County Jail I'm housed in segregation. I don't get to see the news or anything like that. I just get to hear things from family members and other people.
So just to confirm, you haven't confessed to Mila and you haven't confessed to anyone to these murders?
No, but are they saying that I did?
We're hearing that you may have confirmed to multiple people. That's why I was asking you.
Right. And I've heard the same thing. But it doesn't, just things that you hear, you can't believe. That doesn't mean that they're true. So,
Something else that people were talking about at your latest court appearance, people were talking about your shaved head and that you had what looks like a swastika on your head. Do you want to talk about that? Because people are making judgments based on that as well.
The question that you asked me, I don't wish to speak on that.
Okay.
I don't think it's not relevant to the situation in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it's something that needs to be brought up.
Okay, that's fair. I just wanted to ask. Viewers at home were asking, so I wanted to ask you for your side. So really quickly, Wade, I want to jump back in. I know that you said you met Christine just that night at the Buddha Room, and obviously you guys spent the night together and a part of the morning together. Was there any
Yeah.
conversation? Did she tell you that, her plans for that day, the next day? Was she going to go anywhere, meet anybody? We're just trying to understand, what
Oh,
happened to her.
did she tell me? Did she tell me any of her plans? Is
Yeah,
that
we're
what you
trying to
said?
find out what happened to her. So anything you can tell us will help.
Well, here's what I was concerned about, and here's something that the police have not even. I'm not sure they've investigated into it or not. She didn't tell me what she was gonna do the next day. Like, she didn't tell me her plans. Honestly, like, okay, here we go. She didn't tell me, you know what I mean, what she was gonna do. But here's what I tried to convey to the police, and I don't know if they've looked into it. They didn't even. Remember when I told you that we left the Buddha with her friend and another man, and I don't know his name, the guy that lived on McGregor, off McGregor. Yeah, and so what I told the police, because they did ask me, they said the night that we left his house and went and got an Uber ride to her house, he was gonna take us in my car, and he was gonna drive us to Kristen's house. So Kristen told him her address, and he knew where she lived. Now, the other thing about it is the reason that we left his house was actually because he was kind of like weird. He was really strange. Like, the longer we stayed there, me, Kristen, and Kristen's friend, none of us wanted to be there. We were all kind of like, this guy's weird, he's real strange, he's a little off. And so none of us wanted to be at his house anymore, which is the reason we wanted to leave. Now, the problem was with leaving in my car, me and Mila have this car, the Hellcat, and I can't drive a stick shift. Usually I let Mila drive. She drives and I sit in the passenger seat. And so this guy, the way that we got to his house was because he drove. He could drive a stick shift. So there was another problem of leaving his house was, I'm about to run out of gas. I can't drive a stick shift. And so we told him her address, and he was going to drive us to her house. But for whatever reason, when we were about to leave, he decided that he didn't want to come anymore, and he didn't. And so this is another individual that I've tried when the police investigated me, and I told them about him. I don't know his name. I don't know who he is. I know vaguely where he lives. Maybe I could find it. And I've told them that. And whether or not they've looked into this further, I'm not sure.
And that gentleman was Christine's friend, correct?
Yes. No. He was somebody that we had met that night at the Buddha.
Gotcha.
So I don't think that he was Kristen's friend. But if he was, I'm not really sure, because when I met all of them, they were already conveying, together. They were already together. So he may or may not be her friend. I don't want to tell you something that I don't know. But as far as I could tell, he was just somebody that they met that night.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as Diane is concerned, I know you guys spoke about directions, and she gave you directions back to Fort Myers. When you gave her a ride, did she talk about anything else with you?
No, she didn't really talk about much. She just talked about work, and I don't even remember like what she said she did for work. Like, I can't remember that. But she talked vaguely about like going to work, and that was it. The ride that we had together was short, like 4 or 5 minutes, maybe at most, and that was it. So we didn't really talk a whole lot. It was real short ride, and dropped her off. And I thought that she wanted me to drive her all the way to work. That's the assumption that I was under. But then she said she just wanted to be dropped off at the bus. So that was what I did.
And at this point, you told me you don't have a lawyer, or you have a public defender, but you're seeking outside counsel. Is that correct?
Yes, I am seeking outside counsel. I have had people outside of the public defender's office contact me, and there is certain people that are considering taking my case on.
So obviously, Wade, this interview was to get your side of things. Is there anything else that people at home should know from your point of view?
Yes, from my point of view, I would say to the people at home, do not listen to what necessarily the media says all the time. Not to convey you guys, not to say anything about you guys, but don't always listen to what the media says. Don't always listen to false reports. A man is guilty until proved innocent. and he is not guilty until proved innocent. And the thing about it is that I don't, I'm just a man sitting in jail, and I'm being slandered, I'm being talked down to, I'm being put on a very bad place. I'm being put in a very bad place, and it's not fair to me. I have a family, I have 2 children, and I'm a God-fearing man, and I just wanted to get my story out there and to clarify everything that's going on. And I just hope that people, take all this into consideration and look at me in a different light, and that people, hopefully they just can support me and be here for me. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.